It's time to take command with former NFL tight end Logan Paulsen and former Commanders beat reporter Craig Hoffman.
Take 5. It's the 5-minute edition of Take Command. Logan Paulsen there, Craig Hoffman here. And it took, less than 5 minutes, Logan, for DJ Moore to get going versus the Commanders. We want to look at two plays from early in the game that kind of emblematic of the Commanders' problem. Let's start third play of the game. It's a third down, and DJ Moore runs a dig takeoff. What happened on this play, and how did the Commanders correct it, if you will, moving forward?
Yeah, I think this is a really tough play. And again, I'd have to talk to St. Juice. I'd have to talk to the defensive staff. But when I look at it, I say, he's doing a good job, in my opinion, to play an outside leverage. It's man with a, so single high safety. So the guy in the middle of the field. So you're trying to leverage this route to that player. The safety to his side is rolling down to be the plug player. So there's a little bit of safety rocking and rolling going on. But I think St. Juice is in a pretty good spot. So he does a good job. Maybe he could do a better job of getting hands on completely, but turns his hips, gets in a nice trail position. And the thing is, at that 10-yard mark, when DJ Moore does the route, I feel like St. Juice is trying to undercut a dig. And I feel like I've seen them do that before, undercut this dig. And again, maybe St. Juice could be a little bit more aggressive with jamming him. And then that's something you have to talk to St. Juice about. Just be a little bit more physical, a little bit more effective with your feet in terms of squaring them up. But I don't hate the fact that he bites on the double move, because when you're playing DB, it's 5, 10, and 15 yards are kind of the break point. So he's making that break. He's at the sticks. You're defending the sticks.
Yep.
Double move takes off, and the post safety can't get there in time. So the thing I think that sticks out to me about this play is what's the deficiency then? For me, it's probably the pass rush. And again, the Bears kind of understand what's going on here. They understand where they're weak. So first off, let's start with Montez Sweat. He's the tight end side, and the tight end really just run blocks right through him. Boom, big run block, and there's not a lot for him to do in terms of getting into his rush. They got a double team on Payne. Allen's in a one-on-one, and they've got chip help for the left tackle on Chase. And it's really hard to be effective as a pass rusher with chip help and a double team. So I look at this and I say the one guy who's got to win is Allen, and he doesn't win. I think he's kind of in a weird spot, doesn't quite win with his hands the way you'd like. They do get a little pocket compression, but it's definitely not enough. And this is a situation where I think you could probably be more. It's 3rd and 9. Can we get in a different front? Can we ensure one-on-ones? Can we encourage a different pass rushing profile at the line of scrimmage? And that would be my question to Jack. And I don't know what he'd say to me, but it doesn't need to be a blitz necessarily. But can we do something differently to give these guys different rush angles? And I understand you're worried about a running quarterback. The problem is you're going to see a running quarterback every single week. So what's the plan to kind of help these guys be more effective versus these quarterbacks that move around in the pocket? So to me, that's where this falls down. I think St. Juice could be better at the line of scrimmage, but I don't think he doesn't get in a bad relationship until the double move. And then I think the rush could be better, is what I'll say. I think the rush could be better, but I understand schematically why it isn't better, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, totally. That's ultimately kind of what we I think we'll wind up talking about on the full podcast tomorrow, is the overarching largesse takeaway is that how do you as a staff put your players in better position? And it's everyone kind of did what we expected, except for maybe one guy like John you'd hope could win. And we got a big time bad result. So we got schemed up there. How do we prevent that from happening? I think one of the other interesting things on this play, you mentioned the single high safety, is playing the other side of shaded more on that side of the field. Yeah. 1, that's where he starts. 2, that's a 3 receiver side, but it's a good job by Chicago. If we're looking at it from the offensive side, they get their guy truly isolated in space one-on-one. It's a nice, easy, clean read for Justin Fields, and DJ Moore does his thing. And unfortunately, that was a fairly ominous sign. Something that also paid off later in was it that drive or the next drive or later? But they get this touchdown on a cover 2 in the red zone.
Oh yeah, same drive.
Yeah, that was how that first drive finished off. DJ Moore's wide open. Everyone's going, it's a coverage bust. And it's not really a coverage bust.
It's a one-on-one that doesn't go well.
It's a cover 2 beater as a play that gets that wins you a cover 2. So this is the one I'm talking about. There's the one to Kendall Fuller, which is just a tremendous throw. There's pressure in Justin Fields' face. He's got to put it above an outstretched arm by Kendall Fuller, who's not in perfect position, but is in really good position. And he just does. Like, shake the hand of Justin Fields. Good job. The other one that I wanted to break down was they're playing cover 2. It's in the red zone, and Chicago runs a cover 2 beater, and it works. DJ Moore's wide open. How does that happen?
2. Yeah. So I think the thing about this one too is you're right. It's cover 2. They do a pretty good job. Moore's in the slot, so he's going to run kind of a wide and fade. They've got a back out to the left. It's 3-by-1 or it's 3-by-2 because it's empty. So to the 3 receiver side, they've got the running back number 24. They've got Moore number 2 in the slot, and they've got a receiver on the inside. I don't remember his number, but basically they're going to run 2 goes with the receivers, and the back's going to run a little sit. So Fuller, is kind of in a little bit of bind because he's the flat player, but I think Fuller does a good job of getting depth into the coverage. I think where it really falls down is with Percy, and again, people were absolutely murdering Percy for this, and I was like, B. Mitch was all over Percy. Can't do that. Can't have it. Whatever. And I was kind of like, man, that didn't look very good because it's cover 2. Like, you're supposed to be over top of this.
That's in your little bubble on Madden.
Your little bubble on Madden. That's exactly right. And you got to know who the personnel is. But when I watch this, and again, like, this is one of the benefits of watching the All-22. When you don't even see it from the wide, but when you see the end zone, the weakness in Tampa 2, which is what they're in, is the receiver, number 11, I think his number was,
Mooney,
on Cody Barton running the middle of the field. That's where every cover 2 beater is trying to attack, because that's your worst coverage player on a pretty good receiver. Speed versus no speed. Take that matchup every single time. And so what I will say about this is Fields stares right down the middle of the field. He is staring directly at the guy attacking the Tampa 2 player. And it's not like for a quick second, it's like 1,000. 1,000. And I think, again, here, the problem that you run into is that the rush in these big moments didn't really show up. And we're going to talk about that more on the main pod. But that's the thing, is he should not have enough time to just stare down the barrel of this gun for as long as he did and let the routes develop the way they have. Because if I'm Percy and I don't know his rules exactly, but I would assume they're telling me to read quarterback eyes. I'm going to drift with that. I'm going to get in there and try to make a play on the football. And then when he goes back and throws the ball to Moore, there's nobody there. It's wide open. So, again, I would say the rush in this situation probably needs to be better. And we talk about this a lot on the main pod, but the rush wasn't bad in this game. I just felt like they were bad in these big explosive situations. For example, like they're running an ET, Montez and Payne to the offensive right. And it doesn't quite hit. Like, Montez is usually excellent at this. The guard does a good job of feeling it, getting depth, eating it up. Chase gets a little bit of pressure, and then Allen's in a double team because the center's sliding to him. So they kind of, I think they're trying to give themselves different opportunities with the stunt up top, but it ends up hurting him, and there's not pressure. And like, if you count that from the start of this ball, it's almost 4 seconds he's back there holding this football. And I think that's just not, you can't cover like that in the NFL. You just can't.
No, that's not going to work. And it's one of those where, again, in hindsight, it's like it's 3rd and 14. Maybe if you're Kendall, maybe you drop off even more, and it's like you trust yourself to come up and make a tackle if you need to, but you can't let anything behind you. But you also don't anticipate that amount of time for DJ Moore to kind of be able to wander back behind. You wonder play calling, like if Jack had that back, do you call quarters instead of cover 2? So you've got some more resources in the end zone. So it shows you all the different ways where something can go wrong from a play call standpoint. Do you blitz there so that you don't have enough time to gain 14 yards or 20 yards because it's 3rd and 14 from the 20, and you speed things up? Do you call actually a softer coverage shell and drop everybody out and be like, you are not scoring a touchdown here. In fact, you're not getting a first down here, and dedicate more resources? Or is it just executing what you have better and not, but as you said, like, this is just a really well done play design wise from Chicago that puts a couple players in a bind. It puts Kendall in a bind. It puts Percy in a bind. And neither of them were able to, unfortunately, solve that bind. And it kind of unlocked DJ Moore's big day. Much more analysis to come on the big podcast tomorrow. Make sure you are subscribed so you do not miss it. That'll do for this edition of Take 5.
Thanks for watching this clip of Take Command. First, why don't you like it? It lets other people know that it was good, and then they should watch it too. And Logan, we have a new exclusive home for full episodes.
We do. 1067 The Fans YouTube page. Go check it out and please subscribe.
Yeah, do what Logan said.
Do it.
Very, very smart.